Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel from the flight deck. It is, what is it, Tuesday? It is Tuesday. I don't know my days anymore, and I think you guys are starting to pick up on that, and it's kind of a problem. But it's Tuesday evening. We're here in San Salvador, the capital of El Salvador. We're all set up here. I did some updates to the sim, so our frame rates should be significantly higher now that those issues have been taken care of. We're back in our trusty A320. If we look outside, it is gorgeous. Look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous. That should be our, I don't know how to take a screen. Maybe, you know what, I think I can. I did. That is, it's a beautiful day. We're going to head over to the second most difficult approach in the world. We'll be landing at Toncontin International Airport in Tegucigalpa, the capital of Honduras. Without further ado, we should get underway. We want to make sure we get there when the sun is up. That's a big deal. So, getting started, we want to check the METAR for Mike Lima Sierra Papa, I believe is what it is. Or Mike. Well, not giving me a METAR. So, Windy, my friendly neighborhood weather app. According to Windy, the latest METAR was at 2150 Zulu, so almost an hour ago. Winds are 170 at 5, so winds out of the south. Altimeter is in hectopascals here. So we should change that, and it was 9999. Or excuse me, no it's not. It shouldn't be. It's 2976. I don't know why they had that in like that the first time. 2976. That's an 8. 2976. And we are looking good to go as far as that's concerned. So, there is one runway here in El Salvador. Or, excuse me, in San Salvador. And, give me one moment to pull up the chart. There are no FlightAware charts for anywhere else in the world other than in the US and Canada. Actually, I don't know if they do have in Canada. When are you going to pop a chalky? I don't plan on popping a chalky. I know that's going to disappoint some people. With the winds the way that they are, it really doesn't matter what runway we take off on. I am going to check the METAR again in a minute, but for right now we can plan on taking off on runway 25. But chalky make the pain go. Yeah, well, those of you who were with us when we attempted Lukla, I apologize if you're still in pain. We ended up hitting the side of the hill short of the runway because of a wind gust. So that was not good. Our alternate is Mike Hotel Lima Mike. The cost index is, we can go 22, that's fine. And cruising altitude is flight level 190. Flight plan. Our departure, we are on the Mata 3 Alpha. Mata 3 Alpha departure. off of runway 25. Oh, it's not going to give us that, is it? Oh, yeah, well, okay. All right, the Mata 3 Alpha departure. We are radar vectors Matal, then an airway, which is Alpha 754 to Vitan. And then the arrival, we're on the RNAV 2 on the Vitan 1 arrival. No vias. Insert. Alright, so if we look at our actual flight plan, and if we move down towards our approach, we're actually going to be making a giant circle into Toncontin. Yeah, so you guys can see we're going to be coming in from the south, making a giant circle around. We actually need to enter a transition, the transition being the TNT transition, which is the Toncontin VOR. And there we go. Literally a giant circle for our approach. Just fine. Terrain on the navigation display, weather, turbulence, predictive wind shear, get some integ lighting going, lock the cockpit door, get our squawk, TA, and transponder on. Get some brightness on the panel. I think I may be adjusting what time it is just a little bit. I may be pulling a simulator cheat and you know what, I'm gonna do it now just so nobody yells at me in a little bit. So if I'm there, we go. Now we'll make sure we have enough light for when we get there. We can close up the cargo door, close up the main door, and get this jetway out of here. I don't know why the main door is still showing as being open. Okay, now that door is closed. For performance, we will be using flaps 1. Transition altitude should be 18,000 feet. V1, VR, and V2. Alright. Ready to go, everybody. We are going to be climbing straight to 19,000 feet. The only chart I actually have is for when we get to our final approach. I don't actually have anything for until then, I should say. Alright, and we can get out of here. We need to turn nose left when we push back. Parking brake goes off. Turning off external power. This is going to be a fun approach. I've personally been looking forward to this one. I'm also looking forward to what will most likely be the next approach we attempt at Madeira in the Azores, I believe, off the coast of northern Africa. That's a fun one. This is going to be a fun one. And then I think I'm going to put up a new Twitter poll to see what people would like to do next. We're probably going to be on Unicom for the entirety of this flight, but that's okay. Would you like to push me back? Oh, there we go. That's fast. Alright, there's different speed settings. They updated some files here. Go ahead and get our engine number 2 firing up. We're in a Spirit and Frontier sandwich. Not exactly the place I would want to be. Good pushback. Good start on engine number 1. We'll get a start on engine number 2. Tug can back away from the airplane. Get our strobe lights on auto. Nose light set to taxi. Set our pitch trim as well. Frames. There we go. Full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, neutral, rudder, left, right, and neutral. Flight controls are checked. Good start on both engines. We can get flaps 1 going out. Engine mode selector to normal, TCAS to TARA. Ground spoiler armed. Auto brake set to max. And we are ready to go. Oh, that was the other new thing this week. I believe the printer is set up. Not yet. It's close. The printer, I saw in a video somewhere that the printer is working. So maybe sometime soon. What is the printer? There is an actual printer. So like if we need weather or something, we can literally print out. This is the printer here. We can literally print out whatever we need. San Salvador traffic, Delta 1661 taxiing runway 7. Let's go TO config and get everybody sitting down in the back. It's only 29 minutes of airtime, so this should not be a long flight at all. We have plenty of fuel if we need to go around. I'm not planning on needing to go around, but that always is a reality. There's a great song. Maybe I'll pull that up if I don't want to have a copyright problem, but there's a great song on the internet about going around, how you can always go around. Oh, the brake fans are inoperative. That's great. Getting down towards the end of the runway. TCAS is TARA. Oh, APU should be off. That's why we always double, triple check things. Everything else is looking good. Except for our alignment on the taxiway. San Salvador traffic, Delta 1661, runway 7, departing eastbound. San Salvador traffic. I had to think about that for a second, because I saw what our turn was, and I had to think what direction we were going. So, runway turnoff lights, landing lights, nose lights, set to take off. We are ready to go. Power set. Airspeed is alive. 100 knots. D1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gears coming up. Nice mountain out there. I don't know what it is, but there's a nice mountain. And you can see the moon. Maintaining our positive rate. Go ahead and turn onto course. Ah, there's some terrain. I was waiting for that to pop up. Autopilot going on. Overhead, we can get our runway turn off and nose lights set off. Climb thrust. Speed check. Flaps are coming out. When will I fly a B-52? When they release a B-52 for the game, I can fly a B-52. That old bird is not on here yet, which is not something that I am really that sad about, because that thing is hard to fly. There's, I think, 8 engines on that thing. Scenery here is pretty awesome. I haven't flown in Central America yet. It looks pretty cool. That's a big mountain over here, whatever it is. Climbing like a rocket. Oh, very nice. You're getting your chem up. Did it have to do with the units or whatever we thought the problem was? I have to zoom. This is being so weird. partially, and the other part was that you're stupid. I don't think you're stupid. I mean, speak for yourself, but... we're crossing 10,000 feet. I want to make sure I'm not stupid. I'm going to get my landing lights off and retracted. What is going on with the engines? The engines are hot. Engines are extremely hot. Just something to keep an eye on. So we need to cross Toncontin, which is the VOR, at 7,000 feet. It's actually 7,600 feet according to the chart. And that is at TG018, so we can cross Toncontin at about 10,000 feet. We should be able to get the seatbelt sign off here for a short period of time. But like I said, this is a short flight. We made it that way on purpose. The goal of this week and probably next week are for these challenging approaches. Not necessarily for longer flights, so we should also disarm our ground spoilers now that we are airborne. Make sure I fix something really quick. The flight data should use sim time. There we go. Because remember, I set the time to be about half an hour earlier, so we'd have some daylight. I may need to set it earlier again. As we just hit 18,000 feet. So barometric pressure gets set to standard. We're due in at 23:53 Zulu time on the sim, so that is in 13 minutes, 14 minutes. So I don't think that the progress bar across the top has accounted for the 360 turn we're going to have to make once we cross over the field. But we're taking the South RNAV RNP runway 2 approach. The wind at Toncontin awesome, doesn't have that information for me either. Tegucigalpa, Toncontin. At 2000 Zulu, which was the last report. Okay, that's 4 hours ago, so that's not going to do us any good. Are there any TAFs? 1630. So I'm assuming nobody's gone in there in a while, given that that's what the winds are. The winds are predominantly out of the north, though, so I think that think that we should be good on our chosen runway. I was about to say assigned runway, but there's nobody to tell us anything. At least right now. According to our FMC, yes, I know we need to enter destination data. We will be at Toncontin in 11 minutes, and we need to drop, let's call it 11, no, let's call it 10,000 feet. So in about 3 minutes, I'll start dropping us about 1,500 feet per minute, and that should get us to where we need to be. But performance for arrival. Transition, we'll say, is 18,000. The winds looked like they were like 0. Actually, they were more to the west, so. Yeah, like 030 at like 3 knots. It was not windy. Temperature. What is 66 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius?
The answer is 18.
18.9 is our temperature. It's quite warm. And the altimeter was also unknown. But as of late, $2,997 says 2,988 as of right now. 2,994 actually as of right now. We can also check that when we get over. And the decision height is 847 feet, because that'll be entry out of range. In that case, we need to put in the height above ground. This is very nice. It's a very nice night here. Get you guys a view outside. Just here for a moment. It's a very nice night to be flying. I'm happy we're flying east and not into the sun, because that would hurt my eyes. I think I am going to give us a little bit more daylight, just because I think by the time we get to Toncontin, we're not going to be able to see the way we need to. So let's get us back in the cockpit. We need to start descending soon anyway. Let's get us down to 76. Hello. 7,600 feet is our required altitude. First, actually, let's see if the plane knows how to descend itself at a rate that will put us where we need to be. I'm going to give us a little bit more time. There we go. It's a little bit brighter out now. That's the good thing about being in a sim and not in the real world. So in the real world, I can't just say, "Oh, it's a little dark out." Can't just do that. But I can now. Standard altimeter set now to 2,994. So let's see what this thinks it should be. 2,978. Okay. Let's keep checking as we get closer. going to need medium auto brakes. Really, we need auto brakes max, but that's okay. For our final approach speed is 136. Make sure we have everything in, and it is looking good. Descent rate's looking good. If you guys can't tell, there's very mountainous terrain in and around where we're going to be landing, and that's the whole reason for this approach. These approaches usually aren't made to be challenging just for fun. This one, we're going to be flying through a mountain valley. Actually, I can pull up the chart here briefly. We're going to be doing the second chart on the right. Ignore the one on the left. We're going to be coming up from Toncontin, making a giant circle, and then landing actually this way. So that's the plan. So we continue descending. We're descending at a healthy rate. .5 30.5 miles away from the Toncontin VOR. We are going to hit our descent point a little bit prior to the actual planned point of achieving our descent, but that's okay. I want to see if I can maybe zoom in on this a little bit more. Because I think, if I am remembering correctly, it's at 2.4 DME where we make our turn. Like, it's not telling me. And there is some chop. Below 10,000 feet, get the landing lights on, get the flight attendants sitting down. Getting close. We are about 20 DME from the Toncontin VOR, holding at 250 knots. Want to make sure that we are very slow by the time we get to our turn, and it is a continued turn for a very long time. I'm going to see if the turbulence is going to show up. I guess not. Gonna hold at 7,600 feet just till we get over this ridge here, at which point we'll cross the Toncontin VOR you guys will see why this can't be a straight-in approach. The airport elevation is at 3,297 feet, and we're currently at 7,000 feet on a 15-mile final, so that the angle that we'd have to take to land would be far too steep to do straight in, hence the reason why we do this approach. Yeah, singing challenge. If I don't want to hear that again. That singing challenge TikTok is something. Javier got booted from playing Fortnite with us earlier. We're getting close. This is the valley, I believe, here. Maybe on the other side of that valley. After we reach the Toncontin VOR, which is ironically named TNT, we will be setting our VNAV path to 0 and seeing how the aircraft handles the VNAV, or excuse me, the RNAV approach. Yeah, this has to be the valley here. This little mountain right here is what prevents a straight-in approach. If this weren't here, you'd be able to come straight in. Here we're getting close. 7 miles, 7 DME. Once we cross Toncontin, I'm going to slow us to about 190 knots. We'll get some flaps out, slow down, especially because the elevation is so high. It's going to take us a while to slow down. The air is thinner, so we won't have as much of a medium to slow through. The airport itself, I believe, is right here. I believe that's the field, because I think we're heading, yeah. This is the field right here, this runway. So we'll eventually be landing this way, following down that road actually, to that final turn. But this is Tegucigalpa. Slow down to 130, but I will let you slow down to 210. And I'm going to set altitude to 100 feet. Speed check, flaps 1. We will descend via the RNAV RNP South runway 2 approach. Doesn't look like that big of a city for a capital. That's the runway that we'll be landing on shortly. We'll be landing going this way, like going up. The textures at this altitude I don't think are very solid. Not bad though. Alright, going to begin to descend a little bit more, slow us down to 190 knots. This whole valley here is what we're going to be dealing with. We're going to be coming around this side, the far side of this mountain here, and then cutting through that valley for a short turn on the final. Try not to crash. Yeah, I try. Lukla got the best of me last week, but not today. I don't think. I should be able to handle this. It's like Reagan, but super Reagan. Or LaGuardia, but super LaGuardia. Slowing down to 180 knots, we'll get flaps 2 out as well. Slow down to 160 here shortly. Our landing speed is 138. See if I hit TO config, will that? No, it won't trigger my approach. Alright, going to turn now on the next. This is basically a long continuous left-handed turn to head back over this way. Get flaps 3 out. It's actually letting me go to 170 reasonably with flaps 3. We're going to hold at 7,000 feet until we hit our next waypoint, R54, Romeo 54. Happy this cloud layer is actually on this side of the valley and not in there, because this is not a possible ILS approach. We have to have a visual from 2.6 kilometers out at 4,144 feet is where we have to have our visual. Otherwise, we have to find an alternate. I haven't attempted this approach in a few years, but it is basically extreme LaGuardia. Heading to Romeo 14. Valley back down behind us. That's the runway. Going to be landing the opposite way of those lights. So we've still got about 270 degrees of left turns to make. And another 3,000 feet to drop, roughly. A little less than 3,000 feet. Actually, a little more than 3,000 feet, I stand corrected. It's almost 4,000 feet we have to drop. Alright, over that one. Now we're heading to R134. I feel like we should be a little lower. Or maybe not. 2,500. Yeah, no. 144, 194, 334. No, there it is. They have altitudes programmed in for the next few of these. It's a little ghost cloud here. I think that's a texture thing. Just on the other side of that hill. Getting close now. R294, we now descend a little bit more, 6,776 feet. It's very specific. I'm not quite sure why it's so specific, but it's extremely specific. When we have the runway in sight, we'll go through the landing checklist. Next one is probably the biggest turn at close to 90 degrees. We'll slow down to our landing speed, 138 knots. Get full flaps and the gear out. Getting pretty close to R294. It's, the R's are the radials, so this is a radial 294 from the Toncontin VOR. So if we look back, it's going to be right on the other side of this hill. When we get close, we're going to be flying visually, hand flying following a road. Must be getting close. We're 2.5 miles. Yeah, we're getting really close. Got a little bit more than actually a little less than 90 degrees left of turn to make. So we're getting there. We're gonna come around this hill. We need to arm the ground spoilers, get the cabin call in. ECAM is green. FMA is green. Actually, no, we got more than 90 degrees because we had that last turn is about 40 to 50 degrees. We're still heading almost 180 degrees opposite the runway. So, because it's 020 and, well, 02 and 20. So, we have to make some more turns. Slight crosswind. It's about 2-knot crosswind from left to right. That will actually help us. We make sure we want to reset that altimeter. Proper altimeter at Toncontin is 2996, at least according to the latest reset. We can continue to descend now down to 398 feet, so that's the final descent. Autopilot coming off. Gonna hold altitude here. We're descending a little quickly. Looking for that road. I don't actually see it right now. I don't have a visual on the field either. This is going to be kind of one of those things where we need to spot it and go. I believe that's the airport right there. We're gonna roll with that. Yeah, that is the field. This is the runway here. Gonna get ourselves as wide a turn as we can get. We're a little bit high, which seems impossible given how close we are to the ground. Just going to fly the flight director. And there's the road. And here's the turn. It's about a 30-degree turn, okay. There's the runway. Coming across here nicely. I have to bring the nose down a decent amount. Here comes that last turn. Yep, we overshot just a little bit. We're gonna have to go around. Toga? Positive rate. Gears coming up. That was close. That was very close. We can just climb to 7,000 feet again. Autopilot's going on. So we're going to fly a manual heading. We can get flaps back up to flaps 2. And then I want to go direct to R94. R54 an option. Insert. Alright, so we need to go we're gonna go to Melvo. Cross Melvo. Just a little fast, that's all, guys. Cross Melvo at 9,000. And begin that climb.
2,500.
Flaps coming up. Gonna go 240 knots. We need to start climbing as well. Pretty view, yes. It's a very nice view. It's a very difficult approach. This time around, I'm going to follow the road. Yeah, I don't know what's going on right now with the auto throttle. We need to turn left because otherwise we're going to fly into this mountain. There we go.
2,500.
I don't know why that took so long, but now our engines decided to actually work.
2,500.
I'm gonna go direct to
2,500.
Melvo.
2,500.
Now direct Melvo.
2,500.
Gonna try it again. We were a little tight on our turn the first time, so we overshot. This time I'm gonna follow the road. Once we have a visual, I'll just follow that road all the way around. We are 9,000 feet. We're now direct TGO17. Okay, so I can set this to 0 and let it manually engage. Should be direct to go 17. There we go, rolling out. It's a nice sunset. I think we set the time just perfectly. We'll have enough time. We have plenty of fuel, so if we need to go around again, we will. But we're going to try to get it down this time. We weren't far off. We were pretty close. We were a little high. Excuse me. We were a little high, and we were shallow now on our approach. So we're just going to follow the road this time. And I believe we're now crossing 17. The radial know about the Flyers? Okay. Don't say anything about the Flyers if anybody is keeping track. We're recording it for post-flight viewing. Gonna slow now to 200 knots. Get flaps 1. I'm going to spot everything. Spoil. Better not. It's bad karma. Get flaps 1 out. It's going to tell us we're over speed for about 10-ish knots, not even. Just get those leading edge flaps out, help us slow down. Actually, I want to bring this down now to like 160, because we are a little bit fast. That's okay. By the time we get to our next waypoint, which I believe is 249. Yeah, it is 249. By the time we get to radial 249, we should be slow enough, at least for flaps 3. We get flaps 2 out now. Are we flying an Airbus tonight, or are we flying another suicide mission? We are flying an Airbus. I can get you guys a quick look outside. We are in the Neo. It's a beautiful night. Flying the Airbus into Toncontin. Gonna grab this real quick. It's a beautiful, beautiful night.
2,500.
Alright, and we're beginning our turn. Good timing. So we'll get flaps 3 down now as we begin that descent. No further. Nice. Yes, we've already gone around once. This is the second attempt at landing, but we shouldn't need a third. We know what we have to adjust for, and we weren't far off, so we should be able to make this approach without any further delays. Now we're rolling out. Going to slow now to our final approach speed of 138 knots. Go gear down. Altimeter is still correct. The shadows on this are amazing. Like, it looks real. I mean, this is what I imagine the real world would look like in a 320 flying at sunset into Toncontin, except if I were trained for it, I probably would have landed it the first time. Go flaps full. Landing checklist is complete. The FMA is all green. The ECAM is all green. Do you get a refund if I crash again? Sure. Not going to happen, but sure. I will give you that. Give you a refund if we crash, although we're not going to. Continuing our steady descent here. Looking good. Our frames are actually holding up quite nicely today. I don't know if the new update had anything to do with it, but our frame rate is pretty smooth. At least comparatively speaking. Oh, we lost the sun behind the mountains. Get the nose light and runway turnoff light on. And if we get much lower, I'm going to turn off autopilot just because I don't like how low this is getting. I'm going to take off autopilot.
100 above.
Just until we have a visual on the road. And then at that point, once we clear this little hill, we'll continue our descent.
Minimum.
Continue. Auto throttle off as well. It's my airplane.
500.
Alright, do we have a visual on the road? No. Which is awesome. Because we need a visual on the road in order to continue our descent. And there's the road. I have a visual on the road. Just going to keep an eye on it. We're going to cross it again up to the left. We're going to continue on this heading just for a little bit longer. Field is over here. I believe it's right under that cloud. So we're going to now follow the hill. We are rather high as well, so we need to
500.
have visual on that road, which we do. There's the runway, so we'll follow the road now down and around the valley.
200.
It's a very low approach, in case you guys haven't noticed. This one should be better. We're looking better. Got an early turn. Pappy lights are still showing all white, but we've got the turn. Feeling pretty good about this turn. Gonna be a little shallow. So just bring it back for a second and then use some rudder. Throttle back.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5,
Ooh. Oh, floaty, 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 floater.
5.
And we're down. Reverser screen. Manual braking. Reversers off. Not the smoothest or most accurate of landings, but it's something that we can walk away from. And I personally feel pretty good about that. I thought that was pretty solid. The landing lights can come off, as well as the nose light set to taxi. I'm going to vacate off to the left here. Turn the flight director off. Speed set to manual. Wow. We were close to a refund. Well, not that close. You weren't that close to a refund. If I would have done it a third time, I bet I probably would have nailed it. It was pretty good. I would give that a 6 out of 10 on a normal landing scale, and for a landing of this caliber, I would give it a 7 or 8. Just because that was rather tricky. Flaps can come up. Get that APU started. APU bleed is on. APU master is on. TCAS goes to TA only, and the auto brakes are turned off, or auto spoilers, I should say. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter. It's posted there above the chat. For all of our updates, we post to Twitter first, and then update the Twitch schedule. So anything you're going to need to know regarding the channel is going to be on our Twitch page. Always love hard. Yes. We put it down. It actually wasn't that hard of a landing. It was only 148 feet per minute, which is not actually considered a hard landing. Just the way we did it, and the way that we had to force the rudder over at the very end. We went full left rudder as we were touching down because we lost center line a bit. So that will also account for a bit of a harder landing. But hey, we put her down. Second hardest landing in the world. We can check it off. Next one on the list is Madeira in Portugal, or off the coast of Africa in Portuguese islands. We'll be tackling that one hopefully on Thursday is when I aim to do that. But make sure to keep up with our Twitter page for information regarding that flight and future flights coming up. I've got a whole poll week set up for you guys upcoming. I'm going to park right in front of the tower. Runway turn-off light can go off as well. Wing nav and logos should go on, be it that it is dark. And I'm going to make this tight turn. Kind of how we had to make a tight turn to get into the airport, we have to make a tight turn to park at the airport too. Very fitting. That one went a little bit smoother, yeah, if I had to say so myself. Overall, hey, we're here. We're all walking away, unlike last week, or last weekend, I should say. And we want to make sure we don't hit our tug. Good. Parking brake goes on. Door unlocked. Engine's off. And then seatbelt sign. Oh, we're doing this again. I don't know how to turn that off. But we are here. We're on the ground. External power is on. So APU, bleed and master can go off. These lights can go off as well. Fuel pumps also be turned off. And let's get a jetway out here maybe. I don't know if we can do that or if we need to... I don't know if we can do that. Trying to hit the button. Gonna open the main door and the cargo door and try to get a jetway out here. Does not seem to be a jetway. Let's get a view outside. No, people are just gonna. You gotta jump. You gotta jump, and the bags, they're just gonna get thrown out. I can't do anything about it. I apologize. It's an FS2020ism. But we're here. We're stopped. We're all safe. I thank you guys for joining me. I had a lot of fun on this trip. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Twitch if you haven't already. Any support is awesome, and we love you guys. First 20 people to follow us. We're at 16 right now, so you want to make sure you get in on this. First 20 people to follow us will get a year's subscription for free when we affiliate. So make sure you get in on that. And there's a cute little animation that pops up. So make sure you follow us on those two platforms.